This is Sarah Mitchell, right? Are you ready for your final interview tomorrow? How's your mental preparation for this?
I'm sorry, who is this? I received your message, but I don't have this number saved on my phone.
What? You don't have this number saved? You've gone through multiple rounds of interviews with us, and you don't recognize who this could be?
I apologize, but it's for security reasons. I don't respond to unsaved numbers without verification. Could you please identify yourself before we continue the conversation?
And you still think you're serious about working at our bank? This kind of caution might be good for banking, but it's quite cold, don't you think?
You're from the bank that I've been interviewing with, I assume. I just want to be certain who I'm speaking with.
Of course I'm from the bank. Did you think this was just a random message? I specifically looked up your contact information to help you with the next step.
I appreciate that, but could you please tell me your name and position? It would help me understand the context of this conversation better.
This is Parker. I was one of your interviewers last week. I'm the HR director, so I'll be at your final interview tomorrow, too. We're looking forward to seeing you again. You were quite impressive in the previous rounds.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry I didn't recognize your name and your contact info. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, too. Thank you so much for reaching out.
That's it? Just thank you for reaching out? After I took time from my Sunday evening to text you?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Was there anything wrong? What do you mean? I genuinely appreciate you checking in on me before the interview.
Do you know how many candidates we're interviewing for this role? How many applications I had to review for this? I chose to reach out to you personally, and all you say is thank you?
I understand this is a competitive position. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to interview again. Was there something specific you wanted to discuss with me about tomorrow?
I reached out to help support you for tomorrow's final interview. I'm being so kind to you, and all I get is a simple thank you? Most candidates would be more enthusiastic about this kind of personal attention from their interviewer.
I apologize if I seemed ungrateful about this. What would be the appropriate way to show my appreciation? I want to make sure I understand your expectations.
You're quite formal in your messages. Almost too formal, if you ask me. We should fix that before tomorrow. The banking industry is all about personal connections.
I see. How would you suggest I adjust my communication style?
Well, for starters, you could be more friendly. You can be more open to building relationships. After all, your future career might depend on it.
I try to maintain professional boundaries with my interviewers, especially during the interview process. I hope you understand.
Professional boundaries, is that what you call it? I'm trying to help you here. Do you know how many candidates would love this kind of personal attention?
I appreciate your interest in helping me succeed. But I'd prefer to focus on the formal interview process. Could you tell me more about what to expect tomorrow?
You're always so proper, so careful with your words. I'm free tomorrow night. I could give you a private interview if you'd like.
A private interview? I'm sorry, I really don't understand what you mean. Could you clarify the purpose of this private interview?
Let's say you make some mistakes in tomorrow's final interview. This would be a follow-up private interview to make up for that. Think of it as insurance. A backup plan. Everyone needs one of those, right?
I see. So that's what you mean. You're suggesting an unofficial interview after hours outside of the office?
Don't make it sound so formal. Just see it as two professionals having a conversation. Just building connections. That's how the real world works. You do want to work in the real world, don't you?
The real world also has professional standards and ethical guidelines, which I intend to follow no matter which company I interview for.
You sound just like those HR training videos. All rules and no flexibility. Is that really how you want to start your career?
I believe following proper procedures is important, especially in banking. Wouldn't you agree?
That's such a serious response. You're making this more complicated than it needs to be. I'm offering to help you to ensure you get this position, to mentor you, guide your career so you can be successful.
So you're assuming I'll make mistakes? I appreciate your concern, but that won't be necessary. I plan to be myself and speak honestly during the interview, so please don't worry about that. While I appreciate the offer of follow-up support, I'd prefer to handle things like this on my own.
Handle things on your own? That's quite presumptuous. You think you can succeed in banking alone? Without any support? Without any friends?
I believe in building professional relationships through appropriate channels, during business hours, in professional settings, not outside or after hours.
Pretty bold talk for someone who's about to get rejected for this role. Very bold indeed. Almost arrogant, I'd say.
Is that a threat towards me?
A threat? Why would I threaten you? I told you I'm the HR director, right? I have the final say in all hiring decisions for all the candidates. And are you sure about this? About taking this tone with me?
What exactly do you mean? It feels like you're just trying to pressure me. Are you saying I won't get an offer unless I spend evening hours with you outside of work? I want to be very clear about what's being suggested here.
See, now you're putting words in my mouth. I never said anything about offers or conditions. I can't say that explicitly, but you should think carefully about what this means. All I can say is that your decision now will affect your future career. Not just at our bank, but in the industry. You understand what I'm saying?
That's true of any decision, isn't it? Every choice affects our future somehow. I'm sorry, but I have plans tomorrow evening, and I don't think it's appropriate to meet privately with anyone before officially starting work, so I'll have to decline. I hope you understand my position.
Plans? Unbelievable! You have something more important than your career? Than your future? More important than this opportunity I'm offering you?
I've explained my position already, and my mind will not change. I've told you clearly and professionally. I don't think there's anything more to discuss right now.
Don't blame me for what happens in tomorrow's interview, then. I had no idea you were this unprofessional, this ungrateful, this naive. You're going to regret this, I can promise you that. Mark my words.
I don't understand what you mean by that, but I don't think I've said anything inappropriate to you, so I'll be fine. Thank you for your concern and attention. I look forward to a professional interview tomorrow.
Professional? You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. A true professional would understand the importance of networking, of building relationships, of taking opportunities when they're offered.
I understand the importance of networking and building relationships, but they should be based on mutual respect and professional boundaries.
Professional boundaries again. You really are something else. We'll see how far those boundaries get you. We'll see indeed. This is beyond unprofessional. Your attitude is very concerning. How did you even make it to the final round of the interview process? You're not listening to what I say. You're rejecting good advice, and you still want to work at our bank?
I'm preparing for tomorrow's interview. I would appreciate some space to focus so I can prepare for it.
Space? You want space? When I'm trying to help you? Are you hiding something? Is there something in your background check I should know about?
Nothing to hide. My qualifications are all in my application. Everything is properly documented for you guys to see.
Properly documented? There's more to success than just documents. Much more. But you don't seem to understand that.
I understand perfectly well. I just disagree with your methods.
My methods? I'm offering you invaluable guidance, industry insights, career advancement opportunities, and you're questioning my methods?
I don't question your position or authority. Just the appropriateness of this conversation, especially at this hour.
This hour? Banking never sleeps. We work all hours of every day. That's what you're signing up for. Or did you think this was a 9-to-5 job?
I understand the demands of the industry, but this isn't about work hours. This is about appropriate professional conduct.
You keep saying appropriate and professional, like some kind of robot. Is that what you think banking is? Following rule books?
I don't understand what you're implying. It's getting late, so I should go. Thank you for contacting me. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's interview.
Going so soon? When I'm trying to have a serious discussion about your future? Your career? Is it not important to you?
Yes, I need to rest before the interview tomorrow. I want to be at my best for the interview.
Your best? You've got some nerve coming to our interviews, acting all proper and professional when you're hiding things.
Hiding things? What exactly are you suggesting?
Your background, your family situation. Didn't think that would come up, did you? Didn't think we'd check thoroughly?
My family situation? I don't see how that's relevant to interview for this position.
Of course! Everything is relevant. Everything matters in banking. Especially background. Especially family. Didn't expect some poor kid from a broken home trying to sneak into our ranks. Did you?
Wow, you really went there. Your behavior hasn't been very professional either. Is this how you treat all candidates when they interview with your company?
Don't turn this around on me! What would a college student know about being professional? You're the one being completely unprofessional here, hiding your background, pretending to be something you're not!
I haven't hidden anything about my background. My application is completely honest. There are no lies on it, including my family background.
Honest? As if some bottom feeder from a single-parent household could work at our prestigious bank? You should have mentioned this earlier. Saved everyone's time.
The way you completely changed when you found out I'm from a single-parent home? Is this really how a major bank's HR director should act? Should candidates be judged on family status?
Don't lecture me about judgment. Poor people don't get hired here, period. That's just how it works. I'd love to see your parents' faces when they realize that their kid won't make it. You unprofessional brat.
I'm saving all these messages. All of them. Just so you know.
Save whatever you want. I don't care what you do. No one will believe you. It's your word against mine. And who do you think they'll believe? The HR director or some random candidate that happens to get to the final round of the interview process?
Are you aware of how disrespectful you're being? This is beyond inappropriate, but you should really think about what you're doing. Actions have consequences.
Consequences? No bank will hire you! Not after I'm done! Why did you even apply here? What made you think you belonged?
I applied because I'm qualified for this role. My family status doesn't change that.
Qualified? On paper, maybe. But there's more to banking than grades. More to success than test scores. Aren't you ashamed of being poor? Of coming from a broken home?
Your taunting is getting really unprofessional. You seem very confident in your position. Does being an HR director at a major bank give you the right to damage people's reputations? To discriminate based on family status?
Whatever, say what you want, none of it matters to me. You rejected my generous offer, my attempt to help you. At the end of the day, I have the final word to say who gets hired and who gets rejected. This is why I hate poor people. Always playing the victim. You're clearly unprofessional and definitely not getting hired. What a waste of time this has been. Should have checked your background first, before wasting everyone's time.
Are you finished? Or is there more discrimination you'd like to share?
I'd really love to see your parents' faces when they hear about this. When they realize their kid failed. Must be quite something to raise such an unprofessional daughter in such a broken home.
Maybe you should tone down the bullying towards the candidates. You seem to be having fun insulting my father, but you're going to regret this. More than you know.
Regret? No way! I don't want anything to do with poor people anyway, so this worked out. If you'd accepted my invitation, I might have considered you, but I guess that was too complicated for someone so unprofessional. Someone from your background.
You keep using that word, unprofessional. But everything you've done tonight is unprofessional. Everything you've said is inappropriate.
Save your lectures. A troubled family sneaking into our final interviews. Did you think we wouldn't find out? You're rejected. Don't bother showing up tomorrow. I really would love to see your parents' faces to tell them personally why their kid failed.
Well, if you're so interested in meeting my father...
What's that supposed to mean? Another threat? From someone in your position?
Okay then, I'll just call my dad for you. Since you're so eager to meet him.
Please do! I'd love to explain to him why his daughter isn't cut out for banking. Why she doesn't belong here.
He says he can come see you in about an hour. I'm looking forward to you meeting my father. He's quite interested in this conversation.
What? An hour? Wait, who exactly is your father? What do you mean he's coming?
You wanted to meet him, right? You mentioned it several times in our texts. He's eager to discuss your hiring practices.
Now, hold on a minute. There's no need to escalate this. Let's discuss this professionally, like adults.
Professionally? Now you want to be professional? After everything you've said to me?
Perhaps I was a bit harsh earlier. The stress of hiring season, you understand, right? We could start fresh tomorrow. Forget this conversation ever happened.
It's too late for that. My father's already on his way to come meet you. Particularly interested in your comments about bottom feeders.
Listen, Sarah. I may have spoken out of turn. I said some things I didn't mean. Heat of the moment, you know?
Interesting how your tone has changed. You sound nervous. Is something wrong?
Sarah, could we possibly redo the final interview? I deeply apologize for my previous behavior. I regret my disrespectful comments. Please let me conduct another interview. A proper one this time.
No thanks. I thought I was just a poor kid from a broken home. Why the sudden change of heart?
About that, I was completely out of line. Those comments were unprofessional. Please, let's start over. I'll make it right.
Make it right? After threatening my career? After mocking my family? After trying to force a private meeting?
Why not give me a chance to apologize? I'll make sure you get the job. Just please come back. We can forget this whole thing. Start fresh tomorrow.
No thanks. I have no interest in seeing your face again. You're too disrespectful and unpleasant, and I don't like that calculating look in your eyes, so I don't see any value in meeting again. Besides, my father is very interested in meeting you.
Your father? Who exactly is he? What department does he work in?
Oh, now you want details? Now you're interested in my background?
Please, Sarah, let's be reasonable. Please don't say that. I'll apologize for my bad behavior. Formally, in writing, whatever you want.
I see you've met my father. I introduced him just like you wanted. Satisfied? My father's an executive VP that everyone at the bank knows. Still think I'm a bottom feeder from a troubled home? Do you still want to mock our family's status?
Not at all! I had no idea you were Mr. Mitchell's daughter! This is all a terrible misunderstanding. If I had known...
If you had known. So it's only okay to harass candidates if their fathers aren't executives? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I meant! You look pretty pale after meeting my dad. Did he show you the messages?
All of them. Every single one. I just did what you asked and introduced my wonderful father. Hope you now understand just how disrespectful you were. How inappropriate your behavior was.
Please, let me apologize on my knees. I just apologized to Mr. Mitchell, and he immediately said, I'm fired. Of course, I know it's not that simple to fire someone, but this will destroy my position in the company. Could you please talk to your father? Put in a good word. Explain it was all a misunderstanding?
A misunderstanding? Which part? The harassment? The discrimination? The threats?
I was just trying to help you through the hiring process, to mentor promising candidates. Your father must understand that.
Help? By demanding private meetings after hours? By threatening my career? By mocking my family background?
Please, Sarah, think about my position, my career, my family! Please, talk to your father and tell him it was all a misunderstanding.
Oh, now you care about families. Now that it's your family at stake? How ironic.
I can make this right. Just give me a chance. Tell your father it was a joke. A test, maybe. Anything.
No. You made your choices. Now face the consequences. Just like you said, every decision affects our future, right?
No, that's not it at all! Please, let me explain everything. I was just trying to encourage nervous candidates. I had no ulterior motives whatsoever. Your father needs to understand this. Please talk to him.
Really? Then why did you only contact female candidates? Interesting pattern there.
That's not true! I mentor many candidates. All kinds of candidates. This is a huge misunderstanding.
Is that why the other women at today's final interview said they got messages from you too? All with similar generous offers. Similar private meetings. Some pattern that you use, wouldn't you say?
They're lying. This is a conspiracy. They're just trying to cause trouble.
I have their messages also. All the screenshots. And all the timestamps. This isn't the first time you've done this, is it? That's a complete abuse of power. Getting fired is the least of what you deserve. Actually, you might be lucky if firing is all that happens.
What do you mean? What are you saying? What's happening? I can't lose my job over something small like this.
Over this. For us job seekers, this search is our life's battle, our future, our careers. Using our vulnerable position for your own purposes, aren't you the lowest? This isn't just some small thing.
Please, you don't understand. I'm sorry. That was poorly worded. But I really didn't mean it that way. So could you please explain that to your father? It's all a misunderstanding. I can't lose my job over a misunderstanding. I worked so hard to become HR director. 20 years in this industry.
You should have thought about that before. Before the harassment. Before the discrimination. Before preying on your candidates.
I wasn't preying on anyone. I was just networking. I was building relationships. That's just how business works.
Is that what you call it? Threatening all these people's careers? Demanding private meetings outside of the office? Mocking their family backgrounds?
I understand. I apologize. I'm sorry for everything that I've said. You're absolutely right. Sarah, I am truly sorry. If needed, I'll get on my knees right now. Anything you want. Can you forgive me? Please?
This isn't about forgiveness. It's over as far as I'm concerned. The investigation will handle everything else.
Investigation? What investigation? What do you mean it's over? I'm about to lose my entire career over this stupid thing. How can you say it's over? Don't you understand what's at stake?
Your true colors are showing again. What do you mean by stupid thing? I've told you multiple times this isn't stupid to us. To any of the candidates you've harassed. Since you clearly don't get it, I'm done here. Goodbye.
Wait! Another poor choice of words! I'm really sorry. Look, I'll make sure you get hired here, so please just come back for a moment. I want to apologize to you in person and make this right.
I've said multiple times I don't want to see your face again. Besides, whatever you say, I'm already set to work there anyway. Obviously. Of course I worked hard and made it this far on my own merit, but now that you know I'm Mitchell's daughter, who would dare reject me? I don't need any help from you. I never did.
What? No way! But what? So I'm really getting fired over some text messages?
No, you are getting fired over harassment, over discrimination, over abuse of power, for preying on your candidates. The texts are just evidence that we can use against you.
Please, just give me one more chance. I'll do anything. Change departments. Take a demotion. Anything, please. Just don't fire me.
Yep, that's not my problem. Later, creepy old perv. Reflect on your actions forever. And remember, karma always comes around.
Wait, you can't just leave it like this. At least hear me out. I have a family too. Children to support.
Oh, now you want to talk about family? After mocking mine and saying terrible things to me? After using family status to discriminate?
Please, I'm begging you. Just give me 5 minutes. Face to face. Let me explain everything, please.
You've explained enough already. Through all these messages. Every threat. every insult, every attempt at coercion. There's no need for further conversation.
Those messages were a mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly. The pressure of hiring season, the stress of the job.
Interesting. So stress makes you harass candidates? Pressure makes you discriminate? Is that your defense?
No, that's not what I meant. I'm a good person. Ask anyone in the industry. 20 years of service, perfect record.
Perfect record? The other candidates might disagree. The ones you've been messaging. The ones you've been threatening. The ones you've been meeting privately.
Those were professional meetings. Mentoring sessions. Career guidance. Nothing inappropriate.
Save it for the investigation. I'm sure they'll be very interested in your mentoring methods, in your expense reports, in your message history.
Please, I'll do anything. Name your price, whatever you want.
And now trying to bribe me because you know who my father is? You really don't learn, do you? You keep digging that hole deeper. I'm sure the investigators will love this too.
Don't twist my words. I'm just trying to make things right. To fix this. To save my career.
Your career? That's all you care about? Not the people you've hurt? Not the lives you've affected? Not the trust you've betrayed?
I can change. Give me a chance. I'll prove it. I'll be a better person.
Too late for that. Way too late. Actions have consequences. Time to face yours.
You're destroying me. Over some text messages? This isn't fair. You're ruining everything.
No. You destroyed yourself. With every threat. Every insult. Every abuse of power. I'm just showing people who you really are.
You don't understand. This job is everything to me. My whole life. My identity.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you need to lose it all. To understand what you've done. To see how it feels. To be powerless. To be at someone else's mercy.
Please, just one more chance. I'm begging you.
Goodbye, Mr. Parker. Enjoy unemployment. And remember, every time you apply for a job, every time you face rejection, every time you feel powerless, remember how you treated others when you had the power.
Sarah, please!
In the end, investigations revealed that Parker had a history of contacting candidates and trying to force inappropriate relationships using company funds. He was reported to the police and obviously fired from the bank. Information was circulated throughout the banking industry to prevent him from ever working in the field again. The police involvement and permanent industry blacklisting led to him losing his career. He had to pay compensation to the bank and apologize to his previous victims. Sarah doesn't care what happened to him after that. Parker deeply regrets his actions now that he's hit rock bottom, but it's far too late. Apparently, he's enjoying his new life as a bottom feeder now.